Not much to report from last week to this week. We had a good week of practice when we were in that high alert status with getting ready to play anything and everything at the end of the week, and it didn't turn out to anything. So we know that we got a game in front of us, a big game. Excited about that. I know our players will be excited to play, and they're off to a great start. We're off to a good start, so it's going to be a great game.
All right, let's begin with Rod Mackey.
Coach, many moons ago when I was there, Nebraska's the team we hated most, but I'm guessing USC's a pretty big game for you guys. You've never beaten them. They're a 2-touchdown favorite, you being at UCLA. I guess there's a lot of people there that want to take care of the Trojans, maybe more than other teams this week, huh?
Well, it's definitely for what we're trying to accomplish this week and, this season is, maximizing our opportunities every week, and we've done a pretty good job at that the first 2 weeks. We got obviously a great opportunity in front of us. They're undefeated and they're playing well, and we had a game canceled, so we're 1 week out of rhythm, so to speak. I would say when you're winning and you're going from week to week, it's sometimes great to just stay in rhythm to what you're doing, but that unfortunately didn't occur for us. But we've done some real positive things as a program with a lot of missing time in a lot of places. So, we feel we'll be ready to play and put together a good game plan and go out there and compete and look forward to this next opportunity.
Up next, Adam Munstertiger.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, the Pac-12 came out and announced that out-of-conference games will be allowed going forward with that specific criteria. Did that announcement just come too late in the week for you guys to come up with an opponent? Is that something you feel like maybe in the future, if there's an issue with an opponent, you might take advantage of?
I think there's always that case in the future that could occur for us to play someone out of conference. I think what hurt us a little bit last week was nothing was really in place as a conference in terms of how we would work through that protocol until later in the week. So we just didn't have any parameters to operate with, with moving forward. And but I think now that that's been stated and how the process will go from week to week, I think a lot of schools will definitely pursue some other opportunities when they're becoming a game that looks like it could be canceled. And then we'll just go from there, given what the best options for us as we move forward. But, I think from the conference perspective, them getting all those things and in terms of guidelines as to how we proceed, that happened later in the week, and it just didn't time out as well for us to move forward.
Terry Fry.
Well, unplanned piggyback on Adam's question. CSU did not play. Their game was canceled too. Do you wish you could have played CU under that Pac-12 protocol, and where do you think that possibility lies going down the road?
Well, that still lies as an option down the road because there's many more games to be played. So I haven't really thought that much into it in terms of there was a couple of opponents actually that were reaching out that had some interest in playing last week. We just didn't know how to move forward with that. So, now that we have those things in place, we'll evaluate each one as it comes. And, there might be an opportunity later in the season. We'll see. It does look like COVID is all over, right? I mean, you're seeing it hit everywhere across the country in all the different conferences. So, there's still a lot of football to be played. And who knows, what those options, those opportunities will be, as we go. But, we're going to continue to try to move forward each and every week in the process that's been given to us. And if something comes about sometime later in the season, we'll evaluate every option that's out there.
Well, if I could follow up, one of the provisions was that it had to be at the Pac-12 school. Would you be willing to even think about perhaps waiving that and going to CSU to make up that scheduled Rocky Mountain Showdown?
Well, I know in our normal 12-game schedule, I think we always have that option of playing CSU, and it's always been an important game for us in a normal year. So, I mean, those are always options that I think we'll continue to move forward with. And, the thing with the Pac-12 guidelines, that, something that, you guys probably figured out that, you might make an agreement with a non-conference opponent earlier in the week, and for some reason, if the Pac-12 has a school we haven't played that's available because they've missed a game in that current week as well, they're going to trump, our intentions of playing a non-conference team. So that was what was stated too, that, the conference will do that at the latest point of the week on Thursday. So, it's still, we're still going through this thing, trying to figure things out. I don't want to speculate about other things other than what's in front of me right now, but there's obviously some thought and some discussions that are occurring given this unpredictability of the season. So, but we'll just have to tackle it one week at a time, and that's all we can really do. We can't speculate on anything else.
Thank you.
And Terry, the reason those are all home games is that goes into the TV contract money. Every televised Pac-12 game is $5 million to the conference. Mm-hmm. And if you go on the road, that's not going to be the case. Let's go to Brian Howell.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned, getting out of your rhythm a little bit by not playing, but was there a benefit as well to, you mentioned it last week, but getting some of those guys healthy? Do you feel like that was maybe one of those silver linings to last week?
At least that's what I'm looking at, Brian. You got to use some kind of excuse, right? So it definitely helps us with guys that were a little nicked from the first 2 weeks of the season. We're still trying to create our depth, in a lot of positions on our team. So it was, bonus time to get some of these younger players some reps to kind of get them kind of more entrenched with our systems. I want to use as many players as we can. So I think it was a benefit on both sides. Get some guys that were nicked up that didn't have to play, and then obviously trying to continue to develop our team with the younger players that we have.
Yoel.
Hey, Coach, just real quick, what about USC impresses you after getting a look at them on film so far?
They've gotten better every week. They've gotten better, from the first game. And I know the first two games were nail biters where they pulled out some wins, and that shows you a lot about what their potential is to finish games, and they've done that very well. I think last week was a really good game that they played well from start to finish. I felt the defense played pretty inspired and made some plays early in the game that created some momentum for the offense, and I think the offense did a nice job with managing the opportunities that they have. I think their quarterback's an excellent player. For him to be a sophomore, he's a pretty poised player, pretty cool, calm, and collective player. You can tell he has a great sense of what his offense does, and he operates it very, very well. And I just saw a very inspired team, that played up in Utah and played hard, and it was a great game. Utah had some adversity early with losing their starting quarterback, and they came in with the guy that was second, and he finished the game. But that's football. That's gonna happen to everybody, where someone's gonna have to pick up the slack with someone going down, and unfortunately Utah wasn't able to do that. But I thought USC played a very, very good game on both sides of the ball.
Justin Guerrero.
Coach, you've got a lot of players on your team who've lost some pretty close games to USC over the last few years. Last year's game at Folsom Field was decided by 4 points. Just for the players of this program, does this game maybe weigh a little bit more on them, just knowing that they have an opportunity to kind of create a program milestone, beating USC for the first time, and also knowing that in years past they've gotten pretty close but have just been edged by a little bit?
I think to focus this team, and you're right on all those things, Justin, but I would say for us to continue to do what we need to do is to take advantage of things that are really, what's next is playing a really good opponent in USC, and we're trying to create a name and get ourselves in a position to be a part of this conference championship. So they're the next one up on our schedule, and obviously they feel the same way about us. So we just have tremendous work to do. I wasn't part of all the the history of the game in terms of this school playing against USC and things like that. So, and I know we're new to the conference. I'm talking about Colorado in general, since they've, became members of the Pac-12. But, we're going to be playing USC every year. They're in our South Division. It's going to be a divisional game. That's going to be a critical game each and every year. And, so I would say it's that matter of importance is just as important now as it is any year. So we're trying to keep the momentum of having success and doing the things we need to do to win each and every week. This is the next one up against a very good team, and we have a lot to prepare for to get ourselves ready.
Back to Brian Hill.
So, Coach, I've got two for you real quick. First off, I'm curious how much time you guys spent on USC last week. I know it was an unusual bye week, but how much time did you spend on them? And then also, just shifting gears a little bit, you played against USC and coached against them years ago. What kind of memories do you have of those games, and kind of what those rivalry games were like for you?
Well, most of our time last week was really shoring up a lot of the things that we felt that were needed to be addressed for us as a football program. And, we couldn't get too involved with preparing for USC because of, the high alertness of being ready to play anybody and anything at the end of the week. So we were really just focusing on just fixing some of the things that, we know we can be better at offensively, defensively, special teams. So that was the bulk of the week. By the end of the week, when we found out by Friday that we weren't going to have a game, we did have a walkthrough that started on Saturday, and just introducing the, USC and, offense, defense, special teams. So that was the first point of the week that we decided to, start to turn our attention to USC. So it's a great game. It's been a great game for Los Angeles for a lot of years, me being a former UCLA Bruin. So it's, it's always a very important week when you have that rivalry. It's a different feel for me now being in another place. But I know that, from a conference perspective, it's a very important game. We're both sitting in position that are in good positions to do some good things in the course of the season. And we play each other. So there's enough magnitude in that standpoint and understanding how important this game is.
Henry Chisholm.
Brian actually covered mine, so I'm good.
Okay. Let's go to Sean Keeler.
Apple updated my browser, so I'm sorry if I get unmuted. Carl, you talked about California guys. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how you're enjoying the working with Chev and how this offense has really exploded these first two games, and how that relationship's gone, given, he interviewed for the job, you've known him for a while. It seems like it's been a win-win, and the results have really shown on the field.
Darren, and I was his coach as a player, so we've always had a fondness and kept in contact over many years since I've left the program and since he's graduated and has played professionally and coached. So we've always stayed in contact. So it's a great feeling to have someone that that you've intimately have known since he was a youthful player, and now that he's a seasoned coach. So he's done quite well. And the thing that I think our offensive staff has done a tremendous job with is that they all have a number of areas of expertise that they've had success with, and I think Darren has done a really good job of really creating that melting pot of information from a lot of people that have been successful offensively, and really put it together to tailor it for us in terms of what our skill set is for our offensive personnel. So I really feel good about our offensive staff, and Darren has done a great job of managing them and putting together ideas that are really have paid off pretty well for us. Now, this is our best. We got a great test in front of us, which I think will perform well, and our guys are eager to go out there and compete against. But so far, like you said, there's been really good progress for the year so far. But these bigger games are starting to come up, and we'll see how, if we can continue that, that element of success that we've been having, and hopefully keep building on those things and getting better and better. And that's really the goal. We're really trying to get better on all phases of what we're doing as a program, and we can. We've always realized that after each game we've looked at it and we felt like there's plays that we left on the field on both sides of the ball. And So those are the things that we're going to continue to address and concern ourselves with playing as efficiently as we can, really maximizing our talent in the areas that we think are best for them, and hopefully continue this train of success that we've been doing.
Back to Terry Fry.
Given all that's happened since February and the mind-boggling events, both within the program and outside of it, how mind-boggling is it to you that in your third game you're playing a game that could go a long way toward deciding the division championship, at least, if not decided?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I say ramifications about this game. It's a shortened season. It's a 6-7 game season. Now that we're missing a game, it might be only a 6 game. Who knows? But, we're just trying to maximize our chances, going in this shortened, pandemic season. And our players are just locked in on doing those things. We're hopeful to be a factor in this thing. That was our goal from the very beginning, is to be in the thick of it, when the games mattered most. And we're about at that halfway point where, there are going to be some significance now. So, we got to step up to the challenge and prepare and get ourselves ready for a great fight this weekend and hopefully continue to play well and pull out some wins.
Sorry to harp on the schedule, but to throw this into the mix, I saw the story where it was basically dismissed out of hand that they couldn't match you in Stanford again because you have played. Were you fine with that, or did you think that maybe they should at least consider matching you up against Stanford again, just so both of you would have a game?
You talking about last week?
Yeah.
The instances with Washington State and Stanford. Well, I don't know I didn't really speculate too long on. I found out on Friday that their game was in jeopardy. But I think from a conference perspective, we've already felt that we've already played Stanford. I don't know if it would have made sense to do it again. At least that was my first impression. So, but who knows? Who knows how this thing's going to really, unfold as we go. And, as you know, COVID is escalated everywhere across the country, and we might have many, many more games that end up being, either canceled or postponed, and that scenario may come up again. So, but we didn't really think that much about it when we found out about their game last week. But we probably didn't think it was an option just because we just played Stanford.
Eric Christensen, who claims he has a lighthearted one for you, Karl.
Just with your time being at UCLA and having coached and played against USC, and I believe you grew up in California, I'm just curious if their fight song ever drives you crazy and if you can't get it out of your head.
Well, it's not really in my head right now. So, I like our fight song, the one here at the Colorado. That's our tradition and what we do here. And, I haven't really thought of it really until you just brought that up. But I'm sure I'll hear it and have great recollection when I do hear it when we play this weekend. But, those are things I really don't think much about, really, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to get this team to be as good as they can be and keep stressing the importance of getting better each week and developing our depth and getting better and competing and things like that. So those are the things that, I really concern myself with right now with this team. Our coaches we got their attention. We need some work to be done and fixed, and we addressed those things last week. But, this is now a game week, and it's a great game that's in front of us, and I'm excited. I'm excited for our team to go out and compete and play, and hopefully by the end of the week we're in great health. I say those things because literally I take my job one day at a time. One day at a time, just to make sure we're healthy each and every day so we can go to the next step of that given week. So right now it's Monday, and there's a lot that can happen between Monday and Friday. So those are the things I think about that are really on a daily basis that are concerning the team and our health and getting better each day.
Okay, we just got word from the conference and the Arizona time and TV. That's going to be all 5 games, actually. That's Saturday, December 5th, going to be a 6-day selection. So we won't know time or TV until next Sunday. Karl, that looks like that's all we have for you. So thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you a little later in the week.